Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, along with Klazart, and this is take 6 of trying to do game 2 between Luxury and Jangbi. We were with Cholera, and Cholera was having a lot of technical issues trying to get on Ventrilo and everything, and I had some as well, but I've cleared up mine. Cholera's ended up being irreconcilable, and so we're going to have to go on without him. So I'm here with Klazart. I'm very excited about game 2. It should be very fun. Luxury taking a very nice win in game 1. It was almost, he took an early advantage, and then it was kind of like, you know, in a kung fu movie where the greater kung fu artist will mock the lesser by they'll hold out a ball and they'll say, "Snatch it from my hand." And so Luxury had to grasp on the game, and then he held out the game and said, "Here, Jangbi, take it back." And he let Jangbi expand, and then when Jangbi grabbed for it, he grabbed it back with Ultralisks and Cracklings and Defilers and Plagues, and just everything in the Zerg book, completely everything thrown at him, and took the game with nice style as well. So, very exciting game. Hopefully we'll see some good play as well on this next map, which is going to be Carthage.
Yeah, I'm totally hoping for some carnage on Carthage. And by the way, guys, take 6 doesn't mean we've seen this game 6 times already. We actually haven't been able to get past this point right now, the first minute and a half of recording in the previous take. So hopefully we'll be able to get the full game done this time around. And we'll keep the recording regardless of what happens or doesn't. Yeah, and I got to tell you guys, Moletrap's thesis, for those of you who haven't had a chance to check it out, I don't know if you will get a chance to check it out, I don't know if he intends to make it public, but it is on lesbians who love StarCraft. So it's kind of a strange spin-off of lesbian vampire killers, but it's more about lesbians who love StarCraft. So that's going to be exciting to say the least. And yeah, Jangbi just found himself for a whole world of hurt there. It was like he woke up in hell at the end of that game, but actually what he didn't realize was that he was in hell all along. It just took Luxury that long to decide to take the blindfolds off his face so he could actually see where he was. But it'll be interesting to me to see whether or not Jangbi can actually bounce back from that horrible defeat and actually pull back. And he needs to get this win here to get his confidence up. He doesn't want to go 2-0 down, because that's going to be a very deep well out of which he would need to climb should he go 2-0 down. Nevertheless, I'm hoping for an exciting contest between these two guys, and I gotta agree with Moletrap. I think Jangbi should realize that that was an unbalanced map he played on in terms of Neo Harmony, and that he shouldn't really allow that to knock his confidence. And you could just see from the structure of Neo Harmony the difficulty for a Protoss to defend their fast expand because of the way a Zerg player or any player can attack from 2 directions simultaneously, and that's exactly what Luxury did with the Zerglings, using the map structure to maximal advantage and hurting Jangbi early on and then going on for the win from there. Looks like Luxury starting up at the bottom right hand corner of the map in red, and we've got Jangbi at the top left in teal. Luxury at 5 o'clock, Jangbi at 11. Looking forward to a great game of StarCraft with these two guys, Moletrap.
Yeah, and by the way, I've been talking about my thesis a lot in my commentaries the last couple weeks, talking about how I've been working on it. I'm almost done, and the reason Klazart mentioned it, I just finished it today, turned it in. I now officially have a little certificate that says I have a master's degree that's going to be awarded to me. They don't actually give it to me for like 8 months, but they gave me a certificate that says I've earned one. So that's over and done with, and that's exciting because that means I'm going to be able to play some more StarCraft and do some more commentaries, and so I'm looking forward to that. Looks like Luxury is setting up for another quick pool. This is very characteristic of Luxury. He often goes for a very quick spawning pool, oftentimes with gas as well. He didn't go for gas last. Wait, is he gonna? Probably just the trick for another drone though. Nope, maybe not. He's gonna keep his gas mine actually, so he is gonna go for quick gas as well, and try and get some early speedlings or possibly go for some quick tech. Luxury is also a fan of 2-hatch builds, and so I wouldn't be surprised if he did something, some quick tech like that, or something along those lines as well. Jangbi just going for his Forge expand, as you know, as we could expect. So, and he's going to scout that out. He sees the early spawning pool, so he's going to put down cannons early to defend against it. And Luxury now mining gas. So, Jangbi's going to have to put down those cannons just in case it is some kind of crazy speedling rush. There we get a sight of Jangbi's hands. It is early in the game, so he doesn't have a ton of stuff to do, but you can still see the speed that he's executing his commands there. Anyway, yeah, this should be good. I'm looking forward to seeing what Luxury can do with this early pressure, and he has taken drones back off of gas, which means he did just get 100 gas for the speedling upgrade, and now he's going to switch back over and try and get more drones instead, and try and get some economy. So Jangbi's going to have to try and keep that probe alive to see how many Zerglings come out, and then he's going to also have to try and set up a defense at the front door as well.
Yeah, I think so much of StarCraft is in the mind, in play and counterplay and psychology, and I think Luxury has missed a little bit of a trick there. For him to, once he saw that probe in his base, he had to know that his opponent was probably going to put the forge down and probably going to fast expand, even though he hadn't gotten the scout there. I don't see, and that the presence of the early spawning pool and the presence of the probe in the early spawning pool would have allowed the Protoss player to realize what the Zerg player is going for. Therefore, the Protoss player would have been less likely to try a rush or try and come and break down the front door, and would probably have gone for that forge fast expand. And knowing that, Luxury, knowing that there was no way he was going to actually be able to break that defense because his opponent was going to see it coming, there was no point in him investing those minerals and that 100 gas in those Zerglings and in getting speed upgraded Zerglings so early on in the game. He would have been better off trying to shore up his economy, or maybe trying to go down the tech route since he was already starting to get gas early on, maybe try and get an early lair going and try and catch his opponent off guard that way. Maybe produce a couple of Zerglings to take the probe out, but I do feel that Luxury has missed a psychological trick in terms of anticipating what his opponent is going to do based on the information he had there.
That's an interesting thought. Looks like Luxury is setting up his third base here, down at the bottom left corner. He's got relatively short distance between his bases, so it is going to be a little bit easy for him to defend that, although Jangbi won't be pushing out for a little bit, and Jangbi is setting up a lot of probes on that front line to block against any attacks coming in here. Luxury does have a lot of speedlings out, but as I think you pointed out, he doesn't appear to be going for any kind of attack or anything, and that's kind of one of the powerful points of going for those early speedlings, is that you can switch it up and you can go for more of economy. And I'm actually kind of surprised that Jangbi put down that third cannon, in fact, because you know, he must have seen with his probe that Luxury had switched over and was making more drones after those initial Zerglings. So kind of interesting there. Jangbi has scouted that bottom left base as well, so so Luxury's going to have to spread out his defenses now a little bit. He's going to have to spread out defenses between his natural and that bottom left, otherwise Jangbi can just target the one that doesn't have defenses and take it out, and then he'll have a definite advantage. But the game is young yet, so it's going to be a little while before Jangbi has any forces to send out for harassment anyway.
Yeah, that scout is huge, but the big difference between this game and the last is that Luxury had a stronger economy to start with. This time his economy is slightly weaker because he went for a more aggressive build, which means that he's now trying to overcompensate by putting that third hatchery down, even though he knows it will be vulnerable to Jangbi. And Jangbi, having already lost to it last game around, I don't think is going to expose himself this time around. And I think he's going to be able to put a little bit more pressure on Luxury earlier, because Luxury is going to take that little bit longer to catch up in terms of his economy and get a military force going to contain Jangbi. And I was actually going to say that despite me initially saying that Luxury missed a trick, in a way it was also clever, because once the probe went away, he immediately put the third hatchery down, because obviously his opponent was not going to necessarily anticipate him doing that, since Jangbi had already invested in the speed upgrade of Zerglings, and that's why obviously Jangbi put the extra photon cannon down, because he didn't want to get caught off guard like he did. And Flash in the crowd watching, I wonder who he's cheering in this matchup, or is he just thinking, I wish I was there, I could so pwn those noobs with my eyes closed, but I'm not. Well, Flash, you know, you gotta stop focusing on the Winners League so much next time around, perhaps, my friend. But Spire going down 4, Luxury almost up, and unfortunately for Luxury, that base has been scouted, and I think that this time around Jangbi's going to be a little bit safer with it. And you can see Jangbi's got the Citadel down, he's got his Templar Archives down, he's got his Gateway down, and Luxury hasn't been able to put any pressure on him, unlike in the previous game, which the pressure was not just down to Luxury's build order and positioning and attacking, but also a lot of it down to the map structure, whereas this map doesn't lend itself to that, and that's where the statistics on Neo Harmony arise from, and that's where Carthage, I guess, is more balanced. But first, Sayer now out for Jangbi.
Yeah, in that last game, Luxury was able to come in with a bajillion Zerglings from all sides of Jangbi's natural expansion, and ended up making Jangbi put a lot of probes in the way and was able to kill a lot of probes. Whereas this time, if he went for something like that, he'd be able to easily block it with just his buildings in the front and what have you. Flash probably it's funny that you mentioned the Winners League. I don't know if you've seen the Winners League playoffs where Flash actually 14 CC'd and lost immediately and did nothing for his team. Luxury and Hoja, of all people, had to carry the team's victory, but nonetheless, Flash, despite being shown up, is probably rooting for Luxury to win here. He probably wants his teammate to win. Although it's, who knows? Maybe he's bitter because they are new teammates here. And for some reason, Jangbi is hiding his Corsairs in the top left corner of the map. Perhaps he doesn't want Luxury to realize how many he's pumping out here. Maybe he wants Luxury to think that he's only gotten the one for scouting and is now holding back, when in fact he wants enough Corsairs to kill off Overlords quickly so that the Dark Templar can do some damage. He has gone for the DTs. They are roaming out here. There are Overlords in the area, but again, only one Overlord at the natural expansion, only one Overlord at the bottom left, actually two at the natural now. But if he goes in with those Corsairs, he could easily take out these Overlords. Well, let's see. Yeah, not too many Scourges in there, so he could theoretically take those out and then go with the Dark Templar for some damage. But his Corsairs are chilling in the back of his base instead, so the DT's gonna die.
Yeah, kind of silly of Jangbi. Definitely, I think that's a mistake, because it's clever to hide the Corsairs so that your opponent doesn't anticipate them, and Luxury did try and scout with the Scourge. He did send the Scourge into the natural to try and find the Corsairs. Now Mutal is coming out for Luxury, so this is interesting. Maybe he does anticipate something going on, or maybe he feels that his opponent doesn't have Corsairs, and that's why he's making Mutalist, thinking that he's an opportunity to take air superiority here. I'm not sure what it is. High Templar now out for Jangbi as well. Playing a very defensive game here, Jangbi. You would have thought that considering he got a good economy going early on, he would have put a little bit more pressure on his opponent. That Dark Templar Gambit, he really executed that very poorly, because he should have been bringing those Corsairs in for support. While he had the surprise of the DTs, he did not, and he wasted it. But Luxury is now going to find a little bit of a nasty surprise waiting for him when he comes in with those Mutalisks, and it'll be interesting to see if Jangbi can inflict some damage against Luxury. Luxury now coming in with the Mutalisks, trying to catch those High Templar. He's seen those, so he's going to move away, and Jangbi is going to be forced to bring his Corsairs out into the field. Otherwise, he's just going to lose his first Dragoon for nothing. And now the Dragoon coming in far, and now Luxury is going to be forced to run. And great Mutalist split by Luxury, spreading those Mutalisks around Jangbi's Corsairs, and Jangbi's in a little bit of trouble, but Jangbi has so many Corsairs that he's able to actually fight the Mutalisks despite the good split from Luxury. But now those Corsairs are revealed, and Luxury should be producing more Scourges. He's only lost one Mutalisk so far, and I'm sure producing a lot more Scourges. So this is going to be an interesting aerial tussle between these two players.
That actually ended up being a rather smart gambit. Even showing the Dark Templar, I don't know if that was part of his plan or if it was just incidental, but showing the Dark Templars and not moving the Corsairs in made Luxury think that there were no Corsairs. And he went for a bunch of Mutalisks to counter that, and then Corsairs coming out just completely shut down that Mutalisk attack. So now Luxury has spent a lot of money on, look at that, the Dark Templar without the with the one Carapace upgrade is not able to one-hit kill those drones, and the drones survive despite the Dark Templar getting 2 or 3 hits off on those drones. That's clever. But anyway, so Luxury spending a lot of money, a lot of gas and minerals on all those Mutalisks, and then to get them completely shut down by these Corsairs, having too many Corsairs for him to deal with. Very, very interesting gambit by Jangbi. So now that is a lot of Hydralisks that Luxury doesn't have, because he spent so much on the Mutalisks instead. So that's going to actually give Jangbi a decent advantage here. He's pumping out a lot of Dragoons as well. So I think Jangbi's ahead right now. He's trying to get some more tech up, but he's going to be able to go around and do a lot of marauding with those Corsairs. Luxury probably going to try and get a ton of Scourge and take down those Corsairs, but if Jangbi plays it right, he'll be able to take out the Scourge. Although, I noticed in Game 1 that he didn't really do a very good job of protecting his Corsairs from Scourge. So he's going to have to do a better job this time, or the same thing's going to happen that happened in Game 1.
Yeah, Jangbi, Luxury doing a decent job with the Scourge. He's managed to pick off a couple of Corsairs. Jangbi trying to continue to build up that critical mass, but the problem for Jangbi is that he hasn't harassed Luxury's economy at all. And again, he really doesn't want Luxury to be able to progress unharassed too far late into this game. And a picture of my video just going really blurry for a second there for some reason. I don't know if it's happening to Moletrap as well,
yeah,
but my YouTube VOD is gone really blurry, and it's back to normal now. So Jangbi looks like he's content to play defensive and just go on the 2-base economy, build up a large force, and then take down one of Luxury's expansions. And I think that actually that might work out to be a smart move, because I'm not sure if Luxury's going to have enough to actually hold on to it. So Jangbi now looks like he's just about ready to move out, using the Corsairs for support, keeping the scouting away. Luxury coming in with a bunch of Scourges, not landing too many hits on those Corsairs there. Great defense by Jangbi. Jangbi now putting those Corsairs into range of those Dragoons, and now the Mutalisk coming in as well. Careless by Luxury, Storm going off, he manages to pull the Mutalisk out, doesn't take too much damage to them, and now Jangbi chasing away. So Luxury wasting a lot of his Scourges there, didn't use them as effectively as he could have. Luxury with a lot of Zerglings going in to try and take on those Dragoons and High Templar. I feel that those Zerglings are really going to come in for a lot of pain, and I'm not sure if Luxury really has enough to fight off Jangbi's ground force, because Jangbi seems to have quite a powerful ground force, and he does have enough Storms, I think, to lay waste to those Zerglings quite comfortably. And while he makes this push, it looks like Luxury's actually going for a counter. Looks like Luxury's not at all fighting Jangbi, but this is going to get scouted, and he's immediately pulling Zealots back. So he's got the Zealots there, I think, to block and defend against these Zerglings while he attacks. And I think this might be a critical error by Luxury, because I think he's going to lose one of his expansions now.
Oh man, you're right. He's going for the counter. Jangbi is going to be ready for it. He's got the... And here comes the counter. Zerglings all up in there. Zealots are in the way, though. The Zerglings only have a few blocks, a few holes that they can get through. He is having to pull probes, but in the meantime, half the Zerglings have gone down. Storms going off on the Zerglings and the Mutalisks, and more Zerglings. The Storms just slaughtering, and Jangbi's expansion holds. And in the meantime, he's doing a lot of damage to Luxury's expansion here. Most of his Dragoons have survived, but his Zealots have not, so he may have to fall back here for fear of more Zerglings coming out. He may be out of Storm as well. But at the very least, he's managed to hold his expansion and deal a lot of damage to Luxury's forces. Luxury lost probably about 50 or 60 Zerglings in that 10 seconds right there. That was ridiculous. And most of his Mutalisks as well, which means he doesn't have anything left. He hasn't been getting Hydralisks or anything like that, or Lurkers. He very quickly teched a Hive, and he's got an Ultralisk Cavern to show for it now, but I don't know if he's got the economy to deal with that, really. And even if he does, you know, Jangbi's going to be able to get out some Dark Templar to help with defense against Ultralisks, and they're not really going to be upgraded to be worth it for a little while longer anyway. Another attack going in here from Luxury. He is just going all in with all these Zerglings. This time he gets in, he's able to take down a couple of the cannons. I don't think this is going to deal any permanent damage, though. Just a couple of Zerglings surviving, and they're finally going to get taken out by that last cannon. In the meantime, Jangbi has gotten a new force out. He's moved out those Zealots that he had as expansion and joined them up with those Dragoons and High Templar. So he has a fit force once again, and what he's going to do is, instead of trying to kill off Luxury's expansion, which I think would be the wrong move, he's going to use it to secure a third base of his own. And 3 bases Protoss versus 3 base Zerg is definitely going to be in the favor of the Protoss. There's his teammate Stork looking on in the crowd as well, saying, "I wish it was me there. It was almost me there, but then I got owned by you, Jangbi." But anyway, it looks like Luxury is just almost desperate, throwing these squads of Zerglings in to try and take down Jangbi's expansion, but it's just not getting him anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Luxury actually knew that Jangbi had put that expansion up at the 10 o'clock position. I think Luxury might have actually missed that for a while, and that's why he went for the natural expo, because obviously the expansion would have been slightly less well defended. But at the same time, I think Luxury has made a huge tactical error by going for that counter attack at Jangbi's main, because had he retained some of those Zerglings, you could see that. And Jangbi's almost going to be losing that shuttle there. Slightly careless, Luxury with the Scourges now coming in. The Corsairs are going to come in to back up, but the shuttle still gets picked off. Luxury picks off the shuttle. That's huge. That might just have bought him the time he needs to try and come back in this game. Although Jangbi still has a superior ground force, I'm sure that shuttle had some High Templar in it with full energy. That shuttle and 2 storms, but I still think Jangbi's got enough on the ground to make a fight of this. Luxury now with Ultralisk out as well, making a push, but I think Luxury made a tactical error on that attack at the Natural Expo, but I'll get a chance to talk about it later after this fight comes around. Looks like Luxury's once again pushing around towards that Natural Expo again, and I don't know why he persists on attacking it. It's not like there's a lot of resources left there, and it's quite a well-defended area, especially at the choke, so I'm not sure why Luxury's persisting with it. Now Luxury's trying to take down some of the neutral temples in the middle as well, try and open up another path of attack to put some pressure on Jangbi. But again, yeah, in that attack, when Jangbi attacked Luxury's main base, Jangbi was forced to pull back, and he only had a handful of Dragoons, maybe 6 or 7 Dragoons, and a couple of High Templar left and Archons. And if Luxury had those extra Zerglings that he wasted at the Natural Expo, he would have been able to finish off that entire force fully and not allow them to retreat and rejoin up with reinforcements and become a stronger army, not allow those units to resupply. And I think that is what is going to ultimately cost him this game, that one mistake. despite Jangbi having some other advantages in the game. And now that middle temple has been opened up by Luxury, and I wonder if he's regretting that, because Jangbi is actually going to start using it now to try and maneuver around the map, because he has taken the high ground. Luxury now trying to get some position with his Ultras, try and find some sort of position to fight, but he really hasn't been able to do anything about those storms, and he's just being forced to try and keep his Zerglings back. And those storms, perfect storm positioning by Jangbi, using the ramp as a funnel, and Luxury's lost most of his units before they even got to the battle. He has managed to get some more Ultras around the rear of Jangbi's forces and pick off a couple of the High Templar there and a couple of Zealots, but just look at the size of Jangbi's force and look at how many Zealots he has, and I don't think Luxury has what he needs to be able to deal with it. He needs Defilers, really, and he doesn't have them, and those Ultras just aren't able to do what they need to be able to do, because this the combo that Jangbi has is just too powerful for Ultra Ling.
His army got all around Jangbi's army, but the opposite side of that is that Jangbi was able to clump his army up and then just go into D mode and just start storming the lead Dragoons and killing all the Zerglings in front and that sort of thing. And beautifully defended by Jangbi. He just had too big of a ball of units. The ball of units he couldn't gain in game one that he was able to gain this game. Although Luxury putting out more forces here, trying to go for an attack on Jangbi's natural expansion. Again, it looks like Jangbi falling back to try and combat this. A lot of Zerglings and Ultras, and there's storm, beautiful storm going off right on the choke point, killing a lot of Zerglings. Luxury realizes that, though, and falls back those Zerglings so they don't just get slaughtered in a line. But I think, oh, and in the meantime, he sent Zealots down to kill Luxury's 4th base. So now Jangbi at 3 bases and Luxury at 3 bases again, and unless he's gotten another base up somewhere. So I think Jangbi now has the lead in this game. And you know what? I think those Ultralisks, now that I think about it, I think I kind of realized it earlier when I saw it, but I didn't think about it. I think that was his plan all along, because we saw him get those early evolution chambers, very, very early 3 evos, right at the beginning of the game. And then he got his hive incredibly fast as well. So I think his plan was to go for this huge, highly upgraded Ultra Ling army, and he's still able to put out a massive army here, and he's just caught at all these choke points. Carthage has a lot of choke points that Jangbi can fall back to, and he's really using them to his advantage at every turn here. And you know, again, half an army slaughtered by Jangbi there in that little attack. And not a lot of damage done by Luxury. Now he's got the Defiler mound out. Let's see if he gets some Defilers out, he may be able to try and turn things around. But Jangbi has a ton of Zealots, and Storm do fine under Swarm, obviously. So I'm not sure how effective that'll be.
Well, I mean, yeah, and Jangbi, Luxury forced to commit himself to defend his 4th expansion as it's trying to go up, and he's going to lose his entire army there. He has killed a lot of Jangbi's units, but those storms are going to mop up the remaining of the Ultralisks. And Luxury managed to escape with about 4 or 5 Ultralisks. Yeah, he's managed to run away with about 4 or 5 Ultralisks, and he's going to replenish them with Zerglings soon enough. So he's doing a good job of keeping his forces alive, but I think it's only a matter of time before Jangbi actually closes this game out and takes the win against Luxury. And that stealth ninja force of 4 Zealots, I think Jangbi borrowed some of Reach's man loss there to take down that expansion at the 4 o'clock position, and that again has just put Luxury even further behind, and really it's only a matter of time now before Jangbi closes this game out. And I think you're right, there is a lot of choke points, and maybe Defilers don't do that well with Swarm, but I think a few plagues, well-placed plagues against the Protoss army could have done wonders. They could have done real wonders against the Protoss army, but unfortunately he didn't have the Defilers out early enough because he was so focused on spending all his gas on the Ultras that he obviously didn't want to have to research plague as well. But now he's in trouble. I think these Defilers have come out possibly too late for him. Actually, it looks like he's got a decent-sized army, and it looks like Jangbi's army is actually smaller than it should be. So maybe I'm reading this all wrong here, because Jangbi seems to be going a little bit on the defensive, even though he does have that 4th base up as well, I think. And now Jangbi's going on for a massive battle in the middle, and Luxury's units just running right into the storm while he's trying to take that expansion down. He's got more reinforcements coming, but Jangbi seems to have the defense possibly to hold it, and it looks like Luxury's forces are now all dead. So he just kind of kamikaze those into the storm there. He didn't really try and draw some storms out and maneuver and micro at all in that battle, and it looks like Jangbi's cleared out those forces quite comfortably and should be able to close out the game. For a second there I was worried, because I thought I would read this completely wrong, and it looked like Luxury had a decent sized attacking force, but I think his micro let him down a little bit in that battle there.
Yeah, when all those swarms went down, I mean, that was a lot of swarm, and so those dragoons were basically useless in that whole fray. But he had enough zealots underneath, and of course the storms as well, that it didn't really matter. And the Archon's doing some decent backup damage. So Jangbi now has secured that fourth base. Well, not secured it, but he's kept it. He's saved it, and is now going to counterattack and may end up taking out Luxury's fourth base instead. Again, every battle has just gone for Jangbi this entire game. I'm not sure what. I mean, yeah, I guess Luxury's micro is partly to blame, but I think his just choice of strategy is partly to blame as well, a little bit. Although you can't blame him too much. I mean, it's just Jamie must be doing something, and to be completely honest, I don't even know what it is. Is that magical something that allows Jamie to just completely slaughter a dozen Ultralisks with Zerglings alongside as well? I mean, he's got very good upgrades, and that's probably part of it. But Jangbi has just performed really, really well in every single battle, and despite Luxury throwing huge, just really frightening, horrendously frightening forces at him, he's held every single time.
Well, Jangbi is microed quite brilliantly, and that's really been the difference in this matchup. Apart from the builds and the other advantages and the tactical errors that Luxury's made, Jangbi has fought really, really well. He's always pulled Luxury into this kind of killing zone and then stormed, pull and storm, and he just lures Luxury's forces towards his forces, pulls back, and then storms the area where he was standing, and Luxury's forces just run into them because Luxury just hasn't microed well enough. If Luxury microed a little bit better, then this strategy wouldn't work because Luxury would obviously pull his units back as the storms would be cast and not run into the storms. But Jangbi, just with the superior micro, closing out the win. GG, great game of StarCraft. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm going to let Moletrap close it out before we move to the next game.
Yeah, that was crazy, and I think you're exactly right. I mean, that is basically what he's been doing the entire game, and Luxury just, and that's kind of why I said in game one that he's occasionally a little bit sloppy. Sometimes he lets his multitasking lax, he forgets to pay attention to his armies, and that's the kind of thing that'll lose him games against a player like Jangbi.